How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to my Skyrim character build video series. We're winding down now with the last couple of episodes in this series. So today we're going to take a look at one of the most popular character setups or classes to kind of run and play in the game, which is the Archer. The Archer is a thief type character, and I've labelled the difficulty as pretty easy, even though it can get a bit overwhelming if you're attacked by big groups of creatures, monsters or bad guys. With the bow and arrows, they can deal some really high damage. So especially combined with sneak as well, you can get some really nice damage multipliers. So overall, being able to pick people off from a distance rather than getting your hands dirty in close quarters combat makes the class or character setup overall pretty easy. If you wanted to go ahead with this type of character from the beginning, I'd go with the race of Wood Elf or Bosmer. The Bosmer race gets a plus 10 advantage in archery right from the beginning, so it just helps you in the early days. So first up, let's take a look at the equipment, the weapons and apparel we're going to use for this Archer character setup. We're going to go with the best equipment we can get without having to go through the whole ordeal of collecting Daedric hearts in order to acquire our Daedric armor and Daedric bow and arrows. It's I mean, if you've gone through all that, then by all means use the Daedric equipment, but personally I can't bother to go through the whole process of hunting down Daedric monsters to get those hearts. So here we've gone for the Ebony Bow, which is the most powerful bow you get apart from the Daedric bow. You can actually pick up the Ebony Bow in various places around the map, including one place that's pretty early on in the main quest line, so it's really easy to get your hands on without any smithing experience. Obviously a bow is pretty useless without any arrows, so we'll use whatever arrows we've got to hand, whether they're plain old iron arrows or something special like glass arrows, ebony arrows or even Daedric arrows. As for the apparel, like we mentioned, we're going to go with the best we can get our hands on without having to go through the whole ordeal of collecting those Daedric hearts for the Daedric armour. So we're going to need some sort of light armour, so the best light armour we can get, with the exception of Daedric armour, is dragon scale armour. You will need to have leveled up your smithing up to 100 to be able to craft yourself some dragon plate armour, and you will have to have slayed quite a few dragons in order to collect those dragon scales. But it's pretty easy to do, unlike the Daedric ones. The resources are pretty easy to come by. For my little character, I went with the full dragon scale armour and then replaced the helmet with the shrouded cowl just to give my bow an extra 20% more damage. Also makes your characters look pretty cool, like Robin Hood's evil twin. So moving on, let's take a look at some attributes and skills you want to level up as you progress through your gameplay as an archer. We don't really need any magicka except for a little bit to restore our health with an archer class. So the majority of points as we level up I'd stick in the stamina and health categories. We don't really need as much health since we've got that dragon scale armour, which will offer us quite a bit of protection. So I'd stick most of the points into our stamina. You do need stamina as you pull back that bow to release the ammo, which does cost a little bit of stamina. So the more you level this up, the more stamina you've got available. So moving on, the 4 skills you'll really want to level up as you progress with this kind of character are archery, sneak, light armour and one-handed. Archery is by far the number 1 skill you'll want to level up. There's some really nice perks in this skill tree that give you some nice benefits as an archer. We've got the plain old overdraw, which allows you to do 20% more damage with your bow. Then you can move on to other perks like Eagle Eye, which can zoom in your view. Steady Aim, which is a branch off Eagle Eye, which slows time by 25%, which can be really handy in lining up your shots. Then as you move on higher, we've got Power Shot, which allows you to stagger your opponents, which is really handy. Then as you max out your skill tree, we've got Quick Shot and Bullseye, which can draw your bow 30% faster and also give 15% more chance of paralysing the target. So obviously the more you level this up, the more damaging you are with your bow and arrow. Second up, we've got the Sneak skill tree. Like I mentioned in the previous Assassin build, sneaking can really give you some nice damage multipliers. When using your bow and arrow, you can kind of hide in the shadows and snipe people from long ranges with these nice multipliers on the damage, which can really help get those one-shot kills. We're using dragon scale armour for our protection, which is light armour, so we can level up the light armour tree to give us more protection. Then finally we can level up our one-handed skill tree. If we've maxed out everything else, one-handed just gives us that little backup if we run out of arrows or get overwhelmed in close quarters combat. We can pull out our sword and finish off the bad guys. But overall it's definitely the archery skill tree with sneak coming in at close second that you'll want to level up to the max. So that's it for my Archer Skyrim character build. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, please drop me a thumbs up to help share the video with others and give my videos overall more widespread exposure. These Skyrim videos aren't the most popular series on my channel, so every like really does help. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all later.